So India Arie suggests that black women respect themselves and the young black demographic goes in a rage. Is y'all ready to jost this right quick? Let's jost.
Come on, Blazer.
It's the beat for me.
Wah 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 wah. For your guy, for your B-O-Y. Drop it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Do it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Come on, baby, we are.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Voodoo back with a quick little joke. And I was paying attention to what's been going on with the Essence Festival this year. I don't know if y'all noticed, I'm born and raised in New Orleans, so I've been going to Essence Fest, damn near all my life, right? I haven't gone in the recent maybe 5 or 6 years, maybe longer than that, because I just kind of like, once you go once, you kind of just go. But ultimately, what I do love and know about the Essence Festival is that it is a great weekend to showcase Black excellence. Typically, Essence Festival is like your next level Black people. It's your successful people. There's things for you to go down there and network with. People have bookstores. People have all kinds of business-related things going on with Essence Festival. And it's typically, like I said, it's a time for Black excellence. Well, India Arie attended the Black Essence Festival this year. Like I said, I haven't gone in a while, but India Arie attended the festival, and when she saw what she saw between Janelle Monáe and Meg Thee Stallion, she kind of had some words, right? So India Arie noticed that Meg Thee Stallion performed, which is one of the girls, but she performed, and basically she invited the hotties up on stage, so that they can do their twerk thing or twerk fest or whatever it was. Let me just say this from the beginning. I saw bits and pieces of Meg's performance. I think in a performance setting, it actually wasn't too bad. Honestly, I have to be honest. But I think pulling these young ladies, and I'm using that term very loosely, pulling those young ladies up on stage, that could be next level, right? The reason I'm saying that is because perception is everything, and typically we only know what our perception is, right? So looking at this display that I'm looking at right now with these young girls, just twerking and shaking and just, the outfits and all of that, I'm actually going to say something, and I don't mean it in a disrespectful manner. I'm just really trying to be articulate in what I'm saying so you can hear the point that I'm making. But in Essence Festival history, I've never seen young women who, not number one, dress like that, or who would even be let in, and then number two, who would get on stage and do this. Now, it's not a dig to the young girls. If you want to twerk, hell, twerk all over the place if that's what you want to do. I'm not here to police a woman's body or tell a woman what she can and can't do. However, when India gave her message, she said something, the whole message was actually needed, number one. But then number two, there was one sentence in there that really stuck out to me the most, and I think that we need to really talk about it. So India Arie was at this Essence Festival and saw this, and she really wasn't feeling it. So she took to her Twitter or Instagram. I'm not quite sure which one, but she took to her Twitter or Instagram and she had some thoughts on it, and it didn't come from a negative space. In my opinion, it didn't come from a pointing a finger at you type of space. It was more or less of, someone in the older generation compared to these younger girls, kind of like hearing some wisdom, right? So let's read India Arie's message. So she begins by saying, the issue is, what is context? Humanity does everything, but does everything belong in a stage? No. Is everything for kids? No. Is everything for everybody? No. So when we as a culture make something like this mainstream, it shows a lack of discretion and discernment. To those in the comments who laugh at anyone who wants these things for our culture, you certainly have that right. Just as many folks have the right to want our mainstream international export out music to show us in a respectful light, I'd like to go on the record saying this won't age well, and that's my issue. I love Janelle and Meg the way I love us all, and I don't like this moment. Don't bother debating me, LOL, I don't care, and I do this. For 25 years, I've done this. So read, ponder, or don't. So India Arie basically had those comments for the people who performed yesterday, particularly Meg and Janelle. She even added in there, I love Meg, I love Janelle. But the part that stuck out to me most was her talking about how this won't age well. I've known India Arie, and I don't know her personally, but I've been knowing her music for a long time, right? I've been on India Arie since, I want to say, late 90s, early 2000s. She's one of your original neo soul girls, you know what I mean? Always been about self-respect, positive everything, you know what I mean? And she's always been a person who fought for us in the industry, right? So when I saw her say this comment, I knew that it wasn't coming from a negative place. Not only you can read and see that it's not coming from a negative place. However, the young demographic of young ladies took that as her policing their bodies and her being negative and her just hating she's an old auntie and all of this. And it lends itself to the idea that we have now raised a generation that nobody can tell them anything. Nobody, literally. We're talking about a person who literally said, I love Meg, I love Janelle, but I want a better image for us in the mainstream. And the backlash that was received. And I believe that was received because of the culture that we set as a culture right now. Now, I'm going to let y'all listen to India Arie speak about some issues that she had in the past with Joe Rogan. So she and Joe Rogan are on the same Spotify label, or were at the time. And Joe Rogan was labeled this, racist and all the things, negative things that he is. And Spotify upped his payment to like where he was the highest paid podcaster in the world, right? So India Arie got up and spoke out about that, not only for her, but for other Black artists. And that within itself told me that India is really for the people. She's for the culture. She's for us, right? I'm going to let y'all listen to this video and hear what Miss India Arie had to say in regards to Joe Rogan and Black people in the industry. And I'll come right back with a little more commentary.
So you take this money that's generated over here and you use it to invest in this guy. Do what you want, but take me off. Or pay me too. And I don't just mean me, I mean us, artists like me. Pay us too. Pay podcasters of color too. So artist relations from Spotify called me yesterday and they asked me what I want, and I've been thinking about this all night. I'm not gonna say it all here, but what I wanna say to you is something that I already knew. But I want you to know that they said it last night. Most of the streams on Spotify are Black music. But we know that if you're paying attention at all, you understand the role of Black music in this world. So that's a deeper nuance. There's the musicians, there's the Black music that is the backbone of the whole music industry, that's the backbone of Spotify too, who are historically underpaid and mistreated and all this stuff. Just, there's a historical context here that makes all this matter. And then there's this guy, and you take this money and you pay this guy who says this stuff.
So as you can see, she has been an advocate for Black people in the industry, always been an advocate for Black women. And I don't understand why this generation of children that we have in today's society is so absent-minded that they can't even see when someone's actually giving them positive critique, right? We're in an age where now even trying to correct something that will hurt us later on is a problem. When she said the part, "This won't age well," I immediately began to think about, okay, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the line, the value of a Black woman, what will it be if this is all mainstream media is pushing? And again, it's not coming from a negative space. It's really just time for us to start having foresight in the actions and the things that we do. But I know as Black people, we like to live for the day and we like to live for the weekend. We don't practice foresight, which is why we have been oppressed and honestly, mentally, for the last recent years, we've been mentally oppressed the most as a culture and as a group, because we don't even have a system where our elders, and I don't mean her being older, but she's elder to these young girls, but I mean elders coming to say, hey, look, this is not going to be good, right? So it kind of reminded me of the Monique drama. You know, when Monique asked young ladies to wear proper clothing in airports and in public places and not wear bonnets, they dragged her for days. And it just was so disheartening to me, because I'm looking at Monique, she's elder than me. You know what I mean? I'm used to having older Black women in my life telling me, hey, look, This probably isn't okay. You probably shouldn't do this. Tweak this. Even if they say it in a disrespectful manner, you know it's coming from a place of wisdom. So when I saw everybody up in arms because they wanted to wear bonnets in public, not missing the bigger picture of the image of black women, and it really bothered me and it struck me. And I just hope, I can hope all day, but honestly, every time I look around and every time I'm watching TV or the internet, I know we are doomed. As a culture, we are doomed. We've always had this willful ignorance as black people, because that's just what it is. But in this day and age, there's no coming back. We are doomed. And I hate to sound negative. I hate to sound mean. I hate to sound like I'm what they call a hater now. Because, you know, in 2023, if you disagree with anybody on anything, child, you automatically a hater. But I hate to come off like a hater and a person who just has no hope in my culture, especially as young black women. But I believe that that's where we're headed. There's a reason why these girls in the industry are pushed overly sexualized. There's a reason why that is happening. There's a reason why the young black men are pushed selling drugs and pulling out blickies on each other and murking, all of that stuff. There's a reason for that. But we are so busy as black people living for the day and living for the weekend, we won't even see the okie doke until it's too late. And that's what's most alarming, and it's most scary for me. You know what I mean? Because I have offspring, and I wish we cared about our offspring just as much as, you know, others do. But that's neither here nor there. And I don't want to hear the whole, oh, don't compare us to this group, don't compare us to that group. Sometimes we need to be compared to other groups. You know why? Because sometimes they get it right and we get it wrong. I hate when black people say, don't compare me to this, don't compare me to this type of person, this type of white man, this type of... Sometimes they get it right and sometimes we get it wrong. You can find and learn something from any and everybody. It is not a situation where you just can't be told anything. And I think generations of parents who were born in the 80s and 90s, they raised these generation of children. You hear me? All the way up to millennials. They raised a generation of children that you literally cannot tell anything to. If you try to, if you attempt to, it won't work. You will be shut down. And it's sickening. So I went on Twitter because I wanted to see how Twitter was reacting to all of this. And I found some interesting tweets that I wanted to share with you guys. So you're going to hear from our younger generation's mouths on Twitter. And it says, F India Arie, F Erykah Badu, and F Jill Scott. Your favorite neo-soul baddie is also a hotep and a hypocrite. There's more. Another person tweets, India Arie is a dumb bird brain ass loser, and now I gotta stop streaming the truth. Another one said, not India Arie trying to police me. I guess he meant Meg Thee Stallion and Janelle Monáe. Another young lady says, India Arie should have kept her mouth shut, as well as the other senior saints about Meg Thee Stallion. Another one says, India Arie is how most older black women feel about young black women being sexually liberated because they can't worry about their own cobwebs and still conform to respectability politics. May they all continue to get dragged. Stay out of grown women's business. And there's one girl who actually kind of got it, but she says, India Arie is literally saying have some decorum and y'all are mad. Listen, what I got from those messages or from those tweets is just what I was talking about a little bit earlier in this video. You cannot speak to young black women about anything. You cannot tell them anything. They don't want to hear anything. They just know it all. You know what I mean? And being a person who has raised a teenager, I see the signs. I see the signs that this is a group of girls who are mistaking sexual liberation with ratchetness, because that's literally what it is. It is ratchet. It is tasteless. It is poor. It looks like the BET Awards. That's exactly what it looks like. It doesn't look like Essence Festival that's supposed to be celebrating black excellence. And that's just the God honest truth. What I also noticed in this is the hotties. These girls are defending Meg Thee Stallion. Oh, not Meg Thee Stallion. Don't come for Meg Thee Stallion. You better not come for Meg. Not my Meg. Not my Meg. I'm a hottie. Da, da, da. They are defending this woman to the point of degrading another black woman. But it's protect black women. You know, I just want to say this. When the whole Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez thing came out, first of all, I wanted her to get justice. Let me just start by saying that. But secondly, I watched the same group of black women who said protect black women tear down her friend Kelsey. And I thought to myself, I thought y'all said protect black women. Even when I brought up the Sukiana incident with her being, assaulted, I said the title of that video was, I thought y'all said protect black women, because people were on the fence about how they wanted to protect black women. Now you have an older person, older than that generation, who's getting up on this platform saying, hey guys, this is not going to look well in the future. This is going to actually hurt us in the future. Like, this isn't the place, this isn't the time. I mean, the BET Awards, we were already shocked about it, but to bring it to Essence Fest, like, this wasn't it. This ain't it, sis. And these girls are literally spewing hate at India Arie, further telling me that there's nothing we can do. Just like the amount of young black boys who are unaliving each other in the neighborhoods where they've dropped a whole bunch of guns and weapons and extendo clips and stuff that regular civilians couldn't even get, couldn't even find or couldn't even get. Just like they did that, like they dropped crack in the 80s in the black neighborhood, they're dropping ratchetness on the mainstream media for the black women, and they are just eating it up. Now, just like crack, we won't know the effects of it until 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. I'm just hoping that one of the generations after this can come in and kind of correct this or tweak it or something, because the way it's working right now, it's not working. If I'm a person of another culture and this is all I see, and I don't know anybody specifically who is black, but this is all I see, I'm going to assume that this is black women. I'm going to just assume, and I'm going to group everybody up into one scoop. But the problem is, when you do that, the good suffer for the bad. And then you have a whole lot of black women who are accomplished, who are, doing their thing, who don't participate in this type of ratchetness on world stages. They're going to say, well, don't group me into that group. But the problem is, until we learn to excommunicate certain behaviors from our culture, we're all going to end up suffering. And that's just the bottom line. There's not enough black women standing up and sticking up for stuff like this. There's not a lot of black women who are holding other black women accountable. They're just not. And this is tall tale sign of black women not holding other black women accountable, because there should be way more support for India Arie in this situation than anything, because this is just not it. It looks like it stink on the stage. I'm sorry, I said what I said. And if these are the fan groups and the fan bases that these girls are gonna have, I'm fine with it. What I'm not fine with is nobody calling off their dogs. Meaning Meg Thee Stallion, you see your hotties are going in, but it's not just Meg. All the celebrities do it. Nicki do it the most notoriously, but they all do it. They use their fan base to attack other people. All of them do it. Barty Gang, Meg Thee Stallion, Beyonce, all of them do it. Hell, Mel from Love and Marriage Huntsville, that's what they do. But I feel like at some point you should just come out and say something. I want to say back in the day, or maybe a few years ago, one time Beyonce did call off her beehive. I think that was the one time, and I think somebody was either seriously injured or unalive. But this is the type of stan culture that we're creating, and people are basically weaponizing it. Because as an artist, I feel like Janelle and Meg could have came out and said, hey y'all, just chill, or don't do that, or I understand my big sis, and because that kind of stuff calms down this crowd. But yet they're gonna just go on this tour of dragging India Arie for holding black women accountable, and I can't stand it. I literally can't stand it. Sometimes I look around at our culture and I just puke. I take no part in it, but I will be a person who says something and stand up for what's not right for us. This is not right for black women. This is setting us back so many leaps and bounds. We've done so well with our college educations. We've done so well with owning businesses. We've done so well with raising our children. And then we get up and put this on the mainstream, and this is how we act. I just can't. I'm sorry. I cannot. But that's what India Arie had to say, child, about this doggone culture that we got going on, if you want to call it a culture. But that's what she had to say. Y'all drop down in the comments and let me know, was she right or was she wrong? Or is there even a happy medium? Can we at least just say, hey, twerk all you want, sis, just find the right place and right time for it. You know what I mean? Y'all, let's talk about it in the comments. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on TikTok, and I'll see y'all hoes later. Bye.
Mr. Carroll, how you give the voodoo dog time to talk? I don't get no fucking time to talk.
Who the voodoo doll is?
The nigga you just had up here.